I got a serious question. Yeah. Hold on, you guys. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah, I'm going live on StreamYard. I just dropped the link. Yeah, I got a serious question. A real serious question. And nobody in this sector has been able to answer the question. Yeah, this is your homegirl. Babosa. 914 Westchester County, New York, coming to you with another live video. Yo, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah, I got a serious question, you guys. And it's for all the monetized channels in this sector. All of them. I don't care if you've been here 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. I don't care about none of that. I want to know, and this is my question. I'm the only one asking this because I'm a day one OG in the sector. I want to know why nobody in this sector or other sectors that I'm familiar with have the YouTube play button awards. Nobody has the bronze. Nobody has the silver. Nobody has the gold. I have not seen one monetized channel in this whole sector that has one of those YouTube play buttons. That's the only thing I want to know. Why doesn't anyone have one of those? For real, for all the views and all the different channels, and some people got multiple channels, why don't you have the YouTube play button award? There's a bronze, there's a silver, and there's a gold. What's up, Miss V? Shout out to you. Yeah, I'm just trying to find out something real quick. The link is dropped. Anyone that want to hit the link, they can hit it. I want somebody to answer my question. Why doesn't anyone have any of those awards? I've seen people get those awards in the past. Everybody talks shit about Tommy Sotomayor, but I do remember him having the YouTube play button awards. He had the gold, he had the bronze, he had the silver. And at that particular time, Tommy was only on YouTube for maybe 8 years back then. So why doesn't anyone else have those YouTube play button awards? I'll wait for the answer. Because nobody in the sector has the talent that Tommy had. Not Kevin Samuels, not none of those clowns, not even Kwame Brown, the millionaire in this whole sector. He doesn't even have a YouTube play button award. Why is that? Why is that? If he had so many subscribers, so many views, why doesn't he have a YouTube play button award? Nobody's able to answer that, right? Everyone wants to get ghosts when the real questions come out. See, I'm a critical thinker and I think for myself. I'm not in a group. The only group that I am a part of is Soda Nation, and we built this shit. We was here before the Kwamites. We were here before any other group. And now we got all these new YouTube creators. They saying they got all these different subscribers. Different people be going to their channels, viewing the content, listening to the content, commenting and sharing. Why don't none of these people got the awards? Now, I don't expect anyone that been here for 5 years doing content to have an award. I don't. But does anyone have the brains or the heart or the stamina or the courage to ask why a celebrity in this sector doesn't have one of those YouTube play button awards? What happened? What happened to his channel? Kev Lowe likes to brag about his shit. Why don't he have one of those awards? I'm dead ass serious. And we got other people that's in other sectors saying they've been on the YouTubes doing content for more than 5 years and they don't have a YouTube award. That's showing me a whole lot. Yeah, I know ain't nobody want to come through the channel and answer those questions. I don't care how late it is. I don't care how late it is. I don't care who's fucking live. I don't give a damn about none of that. Why doesn't anyone have a YouTube play button award, a plaque in this fucking sector that I know about? And I'm not talking about the little YouTube creators. I'm talking about these big, so-called big YouTube creators. Are they buying views? Are they buying subscribers? Why don't they have a fucking award from the YouTubes? Why don't they have one? People talk all that shit about Tommy Sotomayor. Every time he won one of those plaques, one of those awards, he used to show us. He had receipts for what he fucking did. I don't see nobody else got that kind of stamina. Nobody. So nobody in the sector can criticize Tommy. Nobody in the sector should be attacking him. Nobody in the sector should be talking about him or mentioning him. For real, for real. Especially if you're a fucking op. So why don't the rest of you clowns got the awards? We got people in the sector that got more than 2 channels. Why don't they have any awards? They got so many subscribers. They get so many views a month, 3 months, 6 months. What the fuck happened to their fucking award? For real, for real. I'm dead ass serious. What's up, Purple Heart Podcast? What's up, Just Jay? What's up? I don't know if y'all ever asked yourself that question. I was just thinking about it just as I was getting ready to lay down and go to bed. And some say, no, baby. Nah, I want you to look something up. I looked it up. I said, yeah, that's right. I don't see nobody with those awards. Nobody with a plaque, nothing. But they want to be on YouTube all day and all night. I've never seen people that have panels be on the YouTubes more than 12 hours, almost 24 hours, and they don't have a fucking award. I'm dead ass serious. Why doesn't Kwame Brown have a fucking award? I'm dead ass serious. You know why he doesn't have a fucking award? Because the man is a fucking loser and he's a lazy YouTube creator. That's why. When you're lazy and you're trifling and you're no good And you're a drop shot, you're off brand, you're no name, you're a drag nasty, you don't get any fucking awards. But he gets everything else. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. I was just wondering about that. Why doesn't anyone have any of those plaques? Kwame Brown, no, he can never open his mouth about Tommy Sotomayor or nobody in his fucking sector. You mean to tell me an ex-NBA player that played in the NBA for 12 years came to the YouTubes, created I don't know how many different channels, and he don't have a plaque, he don't have a reward? Only thing that man knows how to do is dox people. All that man knows how to do is lie and twist the truth. All that man knows how to do is drag people that are everyday working Joe and Jane. Does anyone ever ask these types of questions? I'm surprised nobody in the sector has opened their mouth and said, look, let me ask this question. Since Kwame Brown is so popular and he's so wonderful, which he's absolutely garbage, he's a piece of shit, let him show his fucking awards from the YouTubes. I don't see not one. Why don't none of the men in the sector ask him about that instead of asking him some bullshit question about his personal life? Nobody cares about his personal life. Everybody knows he's a deadbeat father. Everybody knows he's a tramp. Why don't nobody ask the real question? That's one of the real questions. He's a celebrity. He got I don't know how many subscribers. He get I don't know how many views. He got more than one channel. Why doesn't he have an award from the YouTubes like Tommy Sotomayor did? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor. I know it goes by subs, but my thing is he been on the YouTubes long enough. Why he don't have one of those plaques? And I don't take up for him. I don't even like the man. Fuck him. Fuck Kwame Brown. And all them Kwamites over there. Hey, Sim said, what's up? Good evening. No, he don't got no plaque. I want to see it. Why don't somebody do a reaction video about that, since they do a reaction about all the other garbage on the YouTubes? Do a reaction video of him showing a fucking plaque. For real, for real. I'm dead ass serious. Since we got all these people that call it down the middle, show the fucking plaque. Show the fucking YouTube button award. Because Tanya TKO got one. Well, a couple of. And Tommy Sotomayor, I don't know how many he got. Shout out to the chat. Tommy is a public figure. I know that Sim said, but I know that he got awards from the YouTubes. And Kwame Brown doesn't. That's what everybody does all these reactions about him. Do the true reaction videos. You know why they don't want to do it? Because they don't want to look bad. That's why they don't do no reaction video. If he do got a plaque, they don't want to show it. They don't want to show it. It is what it is. It was years ago. Oh, I ain't know nothing about it. I'm gonna have to look that up, Just Jay. I want to know why none of these niggas in this sector took the reaction. I'm dead ass serious. I'm laughing, but I just thought about it. I said, wait a minute now. Some say, Ray, look on the thing and look at those plaques. I said, yeah, that's right. Because I remember Tommy used to get them all the time. Every time Tommy would get, it was because of the views. You know, Tommy had lots of subscribers, but it was the views that was, giving him the plaques and all this other stuff. Tommy makes good money. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. I'm just wondering what's going on with Kwame. He got it a couple of years ago, but did he get one recently? No, Sim said, I haven't moved back to New York yet. Sim said, I haven't moved back to New York yet. I'm thinking on it. I'm thinking it on it, Sim said. Because me personally, I don't want to move to New York and I got to go back into the fucking shelter system and start all the way back over. You know, I don't want to do all that. I got an application to do something for housing up there, Sim said, but they asked too many questions, and I don't live in New York right now, so I can't answer the questions they want. Shout out to the chat. I haven't been in New York in years. I know I need to go back though, because my time down here is over. I'm done with South Carolina. I don't think I'm coming back down here at all no more. I don't give a fuck who dies. I don't give a fuck who get born. I don't give a fuck who go to jail. I don't give a fuck about none of that. All that can happen to whoever want to happen to in the I don't give a damn. When I move back to New York, I am not coming back to the South for nothing. Not one damn thing. What the fuck I need to come back down here for? Once I leave, even if I go on a 3-day visit to New York, I know I'm not coming back to the South. I already know that. I already know it. Something is drawing me back. I supposed to never had left in the first place, but things happened. Things went left. So I said, okay, boom, been here for a while. It's time. Now is the best time. Well, Sim said, I guess you could help me move. You could help me move, Sim said. Sim said you can help me move then. And you get the moving truck and everything. No, for real, for real. I'm not taking that. When I leave out of here, I'm not taking nothing out of here with me. But my papers and things I'm going to need. That's it. And that's going to be a very small bag. Shout out to the chat. Because I travel light. I travel light. You don't know what's going to happen. He doing big shit. Yeah. Sim said Tommy Sotomayor is a legend. He's a legend on these YouTube streets. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I really wanted to know, man. Cause I was starting to wonder about it. I said, wait a minute now. He's supposed to be a celebrity. He's supposed to have these plaques. He has so many subscribers. He gets so many views. But lately, I've been noticing he hasn't really been having any real content That's why he been going to different people's channels, spying on them. Like he went to Iceberg channel this Sunday and last Sunday. Yeah. And then he goes over to Kevlo and he spies on the rabbits. He spies on the Rabbit King over there. Shout out to the chat. People don't see what the hell he doing. I see everything he doing. Because people do fucking reaction videos. If people stop doing reaction videos about that clown, his channel would die. He would keep his core audience. It's just that little bit of people, that little crowd, but that's about it. I never liked him. I never respected him. You know. And I had to listen to him, about him all these fucking years. You know what I mean? And the man, he's an idiot. He's a deadbeat father. Who wants to follow a man as a deadbeat dad? Who wants to do that? And they are parents. That's why I don't understand about the everyday working Joe and Jane. Why would you follow I don't give a fuck if they're a celebrity or not. Why would you follow someone that is a deadbeat father? This man doesn't want to see his children. This man don't pay no fucking child support. This man fights everything concerning his children. I think that is shameful. He is a bad example as a black man and as a father. The man came on the YouTubes a couple of years ago around the pandemic. I remember when the pandemic was happening. And this man said he was using ripped up t-shirts for toilet paper. I said, oh no. I laughed. I said, no way in the world. A millionaire ripping up t-shirts. Sim said, for real? All right, Sim said, you doing it $50 challenge? All the mods. I gotta go back through my list, Sim said, and see how many mods I actually got. It's more than 4 or 5 of y'all. For real, for real. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah. Yeah, man. I would love to go. And I got a homegirl up there, and she's a mod too. Yeah. I got one mod that's in touch with me. Got my phone number, and calls me and everything. She utilizes her phone. She ain't shy. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Hello. Good morning. I just called to check on you. You know, especially after Birdman had passed. She was calling all the time. Ring, ring. Hello, Arabia. It's me. I'm just calling to check on you. You know, I was thinking about you and X, Y, and Z. And then we go into a conversation. We have the best time. I'll be up here laughing and talking. And this woman been knowing me for years. Years and years. She knew me before I was really like well known in this sector. She knew me when I was unknown, undiscovered. The only way I became known is when I started interacting in certain chats and with certain people. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. And then that's when I met everyone else. Like, I already knew who Soda Nation was. I just didn't know who these other people was in this other group. Then as time went on, you learn the names. You learn the names. And you learn. But I appreciate it, Sim said. I thank you for thinking of me. I surely do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, somebody sent me some paperwork and I looked over it. I looked over the application and stuff. I gotta get the content number off of there. I didn't look at the content number, the contact number for the place. But yeah, there's some information that was passed to me. Like if I was to leave South Carolina and go back to New York, then boom, 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 you apply for this, you apply for that, you apply for the other thing, get the ball moving. You know what I mean? Get it moving before I leave South Carolina. I'm gonna put it like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. And the only place I really know about, because I never lived in the city, I've always lived in Westchester County. But that particular information deals with the city. You know what I mean? So I know the Bronx, but I never lived in Queens. I never lived in Brooklyn. I never lived in Manhattan. Never lived on Staten Island. It's always 914 Westchester County, the Bronx, the South Bronx. We always stay close to the South Bronx. You know what I mean? When my sister moved from Yonkers for a little bit, I remember my sister had an apartment in Yonkers. I'm gonna tell you something about my family, Sim said. My sister, I got one particular sister, she's younger than me. I got her about 5 years. She met this woman that was living in the city. They met through the church. Okay. She fell in love with this woman. Don't you know my sister ended up moving into that woman's apartment in the South Bronx? But I'm going to tell you what was smart about my sister. My sister kept her apartment in Yonkers. She wasn't going to close that out. Not at all. And I said, and she did that for a whole year. She did that for a whole year. Then she moved back to her apartment. She stayed in her apartment for like a couple of months in Yonkers. Then her and her daughter was leaving out one day, she locked the apartment. She locked the bottom lock and the top lock. And they went back to the Bronx. They stayed in the Bronx for a long time. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Like if I was to able to do something like that and get away with it, I would do it. For real, for real. I wouldn't even let this apartment go. Like, go back and forth to New York just like that. Just keep this apartment until everything is established in New York. Shout out to the chat. That's the way I would have to do it. Simsat. Yeah, Miss V. Yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, man. Shout out to Miss V, Simset, Just J, Purple Heart Podcast that's in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Yeah, man. Serious. That's the way I would have to do it. I would have to keep this apartment. And let's say that I want to go to New York like next month. I'm going to put like next month, right? So I would plan to go for a whole week. Leave the apartment, go for a whole week. Stay up there a whole week, stay a little bit longer, then come back to South Carolina. That's the way I would do it. That's the way I would do it until everything is established in New York. Because I am not going to be homeless. I'm not gonna be living at somebody's bus stop. I will not be in a shelter. I will not be in a mental hospital. I will not be in prison no more. I will not go to a county jail. I will not go to a city jail. I will never do that if I can help it. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. I'm not trying to set myself up. I'm too old now. I'm not in my 40s no more. I'm not in my 30s. I'm not in my late 20s. So I am not going nowhere and be left out in the fucking cold and had to stay out on the street for a whole fucking year to get something moving. Hell to the fuck no. It won't be me. I won't be doing what I used to do in the past. I will never be homeless again. I'd rather die. I'd rather die and go to hell compared to being homeless. Because being homeless is living in hell. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. You out there, you got the public bathrooms, but 9 times out of 10, some bullshit going on with that. You know, all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Now they making things a little easier for the homeless, but it ain't that easy. Trust me, I'm not fooled, and I'm not gonna be persuaded to destroy myself. Nah, I will not be homeless. I will not go to a mental hospital. I will not be in somebody's hospital. I will not be in prison. I will not go to a county jail. I will not go to a city jail nowhere. Because that's what happens to the home. And some of them end up dead. I don't feel like sleeping a dirt nap. So shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah, that's my feeling on it. Cause I was thinking about it. I said, you know what? I should just leave. But then some say, what happens if something go wrong? Where you gonna go? Fuck that. I said, do what your sister did. She stayed in the Bronx for a certain amount of time. Then she went back to Yonkers. Went back to South Bronx. Went back to Yonkers. That's what she did. That's what she did. She did that until her girlfriend passed away. That's what she did. And they was together for a long time. Now I could see it. Now I can understand her situation because she wasn't alone. I would be alone. I would be by myself. Birdman not here with me. He not here. So if anything go wrong, who gonna do anything? Who gonna look for me? Who gonna help me? Nobody. Let's be real about that. Nobody. People have left me out in the cold before. I'm not doing that. Not this year, not no year. I'd rather die and go to fucking hell. And that's real. Oh, I got the application, Mrs. V. I got the application. My homegirl sent it to me. I got the application. Yeah, it's in the phone. I could keep it on the phone, or I could like send everything to my email and get it all printed up so I could have a physical application. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm not leaving to go nowhere if I gotta be outside. I'm not being outside for a week. I'm not being outside for a month. I'm not being outside for 3 months. I'm not being outside for 9 months. Because I remember a couple of years ago, Mrs. V, There was a job training program they was offering in New York City. Okay, Westchester County didn't have this certain type of program at that particular time. So what I did, I left from where I was at in Westchester County, and I left and I went to the city. I went to sign up for the classes and everything. Now, at that particular time, if you was on any kind of public assistance like food stamps and stuff, you could get into the program. So when I gave them my food stamp card, they looked at it and they said, "Oh no, this is Westchester County. We don't deal with Westchester County. You got to go back to Westchester County." So I went back to Westchester County. Westchester County didn't have no program like the way the city had it. The city got the real big programs. They got the best. I had to go back to Westchester County. I had to wait a couple of months, then get into a program. X, Y, and Z, finished the program, went on to get me a regular job, in that field, because I was dealing with building maintenance at the time, building maintenance, and X, Y, and Z. But they wasn't offering the same programs they were offering in the city. And I hate to go to the city and then they be like, "Oh, well, we need to see this and that and X, Y, and Z." And then they find out, "Oh, well, you from Westchester County, you got to go back." And I'm not dealing with Westchester County. Then people are trifling, they are sick, they are twisted. If you go into a shelter, I'm gonna tell you, Miss V and Simset, if you go into a shelter in Westchester County, right? Let's say you work in a regular job, right? Okay, you in the shelter or transitional housing or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you what they're gonna do. They're gonna it once you've been established on the job, like let's say a good month, a good 30 days, right? And look like you might be there a little bit longer. What they do, they charge you. They like, okay, you got to pay X amount of rent. And the amount they want, let me tell you something. And I don't mean no harm, they only want you to have $160 in your pocket for that month. The rest will go to the fucking shelter or to the transitional housing. Now, if you get an apartment, that's something different and you're under a program. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. It's a tricky thing when you're dealing with Westchester County. Because I think I explained it before, Westchester County is actually run by social workers, caseworkers. They run the whole shebang. You can't get nothing done or nothing moved unless you got a case manager or a social worker. If you in a certain population. In my case, I'm in a certain population, so I would always be under the thumb of a social worker. Period. Probably until the day I die. Rent free is happening. Yeah, I don't know the name of the application I got because I didn't write it down, but it's in this phone. Shout out to the chat. Simset is a hot mess, but shout out to Simset. He only trying to look out for me. But Simset is not Birdman. Anything happen to me, they can't contact Simset. Simset, if I was to get locked up today or tomorrow, you get me out of jail, you be able to bomb me out. And if you can't bomb me out, you put money on my books. Shout out to Sim said he's a sweetheart. Yeah. But yeah, that's the only questions I had for this evening. Yeah, man, we got a lot of shit going on these YouTubes. I'm trying not to even look at it. I don't even want to know who's arguing with who. I don't want to know who's mad at who. I don't want to know who's fucking who. I don't care about none of that shit. Cause none of that shit gonna put no money in my pocket. None of it. Somebody try to post. I'm gonna tell y'all something. We got some devils on this app. Somebody tried to dox one of the YouTube creators not too long ago, and it's a female that they did this to. They tried to post this female YouTuber in a very disparaging way. I'm gonna put it like that. And when I saw it, I said, yeah, we got a lot of crazies on the YouTubes. I mean, the woman, I'm not going to even describe what I saw. I'm not going to even describe it. I'm not going to even say nothing out loud about it. But I didn't like what I saw. I'm going to put it like that. I thought it was fucked up that any YouTube creator would come after a female like that. I don't give a fuck what you doing. And you women on the YouTubes, you need to stop putting yourselves in vulnerable positions. Stop doing it. Because when you put yourself in a vulnerable position, people like to run with it. They like to run with it. And some people will actually start telling you, oh, I got this information about you, so X, Y, and Z. You do not want that to happen to you. People like to get you in compromise. And I saw this with my own naked eyes on Monday morning before I went to work. I was sitting at the office and I saw something that was very intriguing to me. I opened it and it was one of the females on the YouTubes. Yeah. And I said to myself, what the fuck is going on these YouTubes? And I'm telling you, women, we gotta do better. Put yourself in a compromising position. Because people love to feed off of that. I'm not gonna even say what I saw. I'm gonna pretend I didn't fucking see it. That's how angry I am. I'm gonna pretend I didn't fucking see it. I will address that YouTube creator in another way. Hopefully everything work out for me tomorrow. I'll be able to contact them tomorrow. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah, Miss V. We got some creepy people on the YouTubes. And I wasn't very shocked or surprised at the situation, but it's just the fact that the person that got the Lord, I don't want to talk about it no more because I feel myself getting I must say it's not very good. I don't have a very good feel about it. But I know how to get in touch with people on the YouTubes. So, and then sometimes when you do tell, I hate to tell her, But sometimes when you do tell people, they get angry with you even know it. Yeah. That's why I don't, yeah, I kind of like, wait a minute now, should I? Should, but, you know, they get mad at me, they get mad at me, you know, nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is, hey, look, X, Y, and Z got this information about you. I think you need to check over there. Yeah, because we got a lot of cyber stalkers, cyber bullies, and a lot of cyber everything, a lot of cyber creeps on these YouTube shows. We got a lot of weirdos. And you know, when they really weird, and I'm talking about the men, when they're really, we got some really weird men. And when they're really weird, you don't never see that, they don't never camera up, and some other stuff be going on. Voice changes and all that other bullshit. That's what I can't understand. If you going, I understand about trolling, but certain trolls don't need to be doing nothing because they very stalkish. It's very creepy and weird. When I saw it, I thought very weird. Weird. Because not even me, somebody with a mental illness like me, I wouldn't even do no bullshit like that. Yeah, we got a lot of weirdos. A lot of weirdos. We got we know their face weirdos, and then we got the weirdos that like to hide their fucking identity. They want to talk all their cold cash shit, but they hide who the fuck they are. If you're a real man, you show yourself. You know what I mean? We got some real trolls. But back in my day, when I first came on the YouTubes, it just certain things you wouldn't dare to do. You wouldn't dare. But people feel that, you know, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. They're gonna get caught up in the web. I've seen it happen before. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah, it's extreme. Cause I wasn't, cause you know how I do when I leave from my house in the morning, Miss V. I like to go straight to the office. So I'm on the YouTubes, right? I'm just strolling on the YouTubes, and I discover a video. And when I seen what I seen, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I know other people aren't seen it. I know other people aren't seen it. But my thing is, we got some real weirdos and creeps, and they want to be this and that, but they don't want to reveal who the fuck they really is. They don't. For real, for real. We got a lot of cowards like that. You know what I mean? You know, even in real life. I remember a few years ago, there was a situation, and it was this young man. He had approached me. He came to me. He was like, "Oh, Miss Arabi, I want to tell you X, Y, and Z." He might have been telling the truth, right? But then when the person he was talking about came up there and was like, and I told him, I said, "Yo, that person said you said X, Y, and Z." And he didn't deny he had said whatever he said, but the young man, he was like, "I didn't want you to tell him I said it." I said, "You a man, he a man. You a man, he a man. Y'all should be able to, you know, whatever." So, you know, I find that very weird when a man approaches you and says, well, you know, X, Y, and Z. And then when the man that he's talking about approaches and he don't say nothing, he act like he didn't say shit. And I feel that's some bitch shit. I don't like bitches around me, especially bitches with dicks. If you a bitch and you got a dick, we got a problem. Houston, there is a problem. Control yard movement. Attention all inmates. Attention all inmates. The yard is now open. The yard is now open. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, but I'm getting ready to close out this video. I want to thank everyone for coming over. Shout out to Miss V. Shout out to Just Jay, aka Purple Heart Podcast. Shout out to Simset for coming over. Simset trying to get me moved to New York as quick as possible. But he don't know the ins and outs and the politics of certain shit. He thinks everything is so simple. It's not that simple. I mean, you know what? I don't mean no harm. Maybe I should have. I don't know. I'll think on it. I don't want to say shoulda, woulda, coulda, but you know, it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. This is your home girl. The BT 10914, which is the county of New York. We stuck now here in South Carolina. We trying to move to New York. And like Simset says, it needs to happen as soon as possible. But I refuse to be homeless. I refuse to be in the trick bag again. I've done it so many different times. And I was younger then. I was younger and I was thin. Not now. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. I think I still got some pictures of me when I was thin, when I wasn't heavy. I still look the same, but I was thin. And I didn't realize I was that thin. I was like, I don't remember being that thin, but I was. I said, Lord have mercy, I've come a long way. All right, shout out to everyone. Peace out. Good night, everyone. Sleep well, rest well, or should I say, la la salama. La la salama. That's going to be my next song, La la salama. Only my moderators would know how to translate it. And Mrs. V, you getting very good at translating the Swahili. Mrs. V, I noticed that. You, Just Jay, Pick and Choose, which is AKA Slim, and there's a few other people. But Just Jay is very good at translating. You are good at translating what I say. Slim, he's very good. And I don't know if anybody else. Maybe if they are learning, they learn it on the down low because they don't want everybody to know their powers. Yeah, Lala Salama means rest well, or sleep well, or sleep good, rest well. It's different ways how you could say it in Swahili. I just say Lala Salama. Lala Salama. There's another way of how to say it. And I want to say Pumzika Vizuri. Pumzika Vizuri. Yeah, Pumzika Visuri, and Lala Salama. Yeah. Rest well, relax well, something like that. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Miss V, you getting good at translate. You just Jay is doing very well because I wrote something in her chat when she was live, and I was asking her in Swahili, what does she want to eat, and she knew immediately how to translate what I said, and she was like, "Yeah, I want X1s and stuff to eat and blah blah blah." Yeah, so I knew Just Jay was getting good. I said, "Yeah, Just Jay catching on. Mrs. V's catching on. Uh, Slim and whoever else be listening, and they be catching on. So, but Khadijah, she's real good. She know exactly what I be saying. Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, Khadijah had taught me a new word a couple of months ago. I didn't know what it meant. When I heard her say it, I said, "Oh, it sounds good." She said, "Yeah." I said, "Damn, that sounds good." And that made me go to the library and look up more words. And I went back on the computer and look up more words. And I practice them and I look at them and I study them and I practice. I said, what if this could be a song? If it could be a song, then everyone can learn Swahili. Because all them songs that y'all be listening to that's not in English on my channel, it's in Swahili. It might have a few Spanish phrases in, but most of the phrases that you hear when you hear my songs playing, and there's no English that you can't really understand, it's all Swahili. And those of you that have been listening to me, you know what the songs are. You can translate it in your head, and that's good. Yeah, yeah. You doing good, Mrs. V. Shout out to my moderators. They seem to pick up what I be saying. They be picking up what I'm saying real quick, real quick. Some of the rabbits understand me. Yeah, I was surprised, but yeah, some of them. And Lonnie, she just laughs. She just says it reminds her of the color purple. Lonnie has always been that way. She's like, oh, it's not in English. I remember one time I was in Sister T chat, right? And somebody had said something to me, or something that Sister T did, or whatever. Anyway, I was like, oh, Nini Kuzimu Kila Wakati. And I typed it. And then somebody in the chat said, well, what is that? And I told her what Nini Kuzimu Kila Wakati meant. It means what the hell it will always be. That's what I said. It's just like if I say unakaribishwa hapa kila wakati, I'm saying is you are welcome always. You are always welcome. You know what I mean? Unakaribishwa hapa kila wakati. And what you do when you learn certain words, you start building your own sentences. If it makes sense, if that makes sense. You build your own sentences and then you can communicate. Only thing you gotta do is practice, listen. You gotta comprehend, and you gotta practice. And sometimes you have to write these things down. It's best to write things down and then write down the meaning of it and then post it different places in your house. Let's say you're in your bedroom. post it in your bedroom. If you go to the bathroom, you post it in the bathroom. You use the kitchen, you post it in the kitchen. Before you leave out the door, before you go to work or school or anything, you post certain things on the inside of the door. So, you be like, yeah, because, when you leaving out, now you're seeing these words. Now, all this stuff is accumulating. You're sponging everything. You sponge. Sponge means to see, to read, to understand, to comprehend, to speak. And then you will be speaking. What's up, Corey A? Shout out to you. Thank you for coming in, love. Sim said, in order to become a translator, you would have to be, let's see, very fluent. And it's going to take you more than a year to be very fluent. Because once you start practicing the Swahili words, okay, let's say that you label everything in your house and you practice, practice, practice. As soon as if you see a spoon, you know what spoon is in Swahili. You see a door, you know what door is in Swahili. Street, you know what that is. You start thinking in Swahili. Just like the same thing if you learn Spanish. So yeah, it's possible to become a translator after 3 years. I would say after 3 years. I mean, I can't give nobody a exact date when they would be fluent, but if they practice every day for I'm gonna say 3 years. 3 to 10 years, then you can be a translator. But after 3 years, you should be able to translate. You should be a translator. Yeah, that's a good observation. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, yeah, Sim said. In order to get certain things that like the basics, it would take you a year. In order to advance a little bit more, I would say between 3 and 10 years. 3 and 10 years. I'm gonna put it like this: the same way you learn your first language, that's how long it's gonna take for you to learn the second. If you're not vigilant, well, if you're vigilant too. But see, in order for us to learn English, we had to take baby steps. Like you'll point to something, you be like, "What is that?" And someone say, "Oh, that's a table." But what is it in Swahili? And table in Swahili is meza, 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 Meza. Like if you was to say, let me see. Like kiti, the word kiti is chair. So if you see a chair in your house, you automatically know that's kiti. I'm gonna have to break it down for y'all. I probably have to do it in another video. Mrs. V, you told me I might have to do this. And yes, Corey, Lonnie did say that. Shout out to Lonnie. Lonnie said when she be hearing me speak in Swahili, she said it reminds her of the color purple. Because at the end of the movie, when Celie meets her children, the children are speaking to her in English, a little bit of English, but they mostly speak in some type of African language. I don't know which language they were speaking in. It could have been, I don't think it was Swahili. I think it was another language and stuff. It's an African language. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. There was like last summer when I was working with Freddie, there was one particular day something happened on the job. And I said, oh shit, Nini Kuzimu Kila Wakat. It just came out. It just came out. And he was like, oh shit, you just said something in an African language. You not supposed to know how to speak African language. I said, what? I said, oh Lord. See, that's how brainwashed some of our people is. They think we ain't supposed to speak other languages. I think it's a wonderful thing if you learn another language. Yeah, yeah. Hold on. How about I love the unexpected? What percentage of Native American are you? Sim said, my great grandmother is a Native American. I don't know my percentage from what I'm telling you. My great grandmother, my grandmother's mother was Native American. Hmm. I forget which tribe she's from, but I do believe it's one of those tribes that's from Long Island, New York. I can't remember the name of it. It's the same tribe that Old Dirty Bastard was a part of. He's Native American too. And I forget the name of the tribe. It starts with an S. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. If that makes sense. And of course, my great grandmother had married an African man, but the African man that she married, he was a mulatto. He was Creole. He was from the island of, he was from one of them 10 islands in Cape Verde. He was from the island of Fogo. Fogo. He was from that island. And he came to this country in 1928. I want to say 1928 or before 1928, because 1928 was the same year my grandmother was born. So he had to have been here before that. And when he came to this country, he didn't go to New York directly. He went to Massachusetts. He lived in a place called Dorchester. And then after he left from Dorchester, he went on to New York. If that makes sense. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, Sim. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, you're right. You absolutely right, Sim said. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I would have to go through to even claim my Native American heritage, because Sim said I was adopted years ago. Uh-huh. So whatever records were there, I would have to write up for my original birth certificate. But even then, it's not going to give me any real information because a lot of the Native Americans in this country were reclassified as being black, unfortunately, if that makes sense. Shout out to the chat. All right, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming over. Mrs. V, shout out to you. Purple Heart Podcast, shout out to you, aka Just Jay. Shout out to Simset. Simset is something else. Shout out to Simset. Shout out to Corey A. Yo, shout out to Corey A. And shout out to everyone else that might be sitting in the bushes or came over to this chat and was sitting in the bushes and didn't tippity type. Shout out to them. All right, you guys, it's getting late. I know everyone wants to go to bed, especially me. Especially me. Because I know I got to get up early in the morning. And if I don't get up early in the morning, I'm not going to make any money. I got to get out there, you guys. I hate these construction cleanup jobs, though. I ain't going to lie to you. It was much better when I was working the Walmart ticket. Yeah, I was much happier. Now I'm all miserable. All right, you guys, thank you for coming over. For those that are not here, I hope they will catch the replay. We had a lot of laughs this evening. We had a lot of information given out. And of course, you know, I raved a little bit. My moderators are the best in the world. I got the best moderators in the sector. And I got some powerful moderators in my chat. Shout out to them. All right, you guys. Thanks you for coming over. I appreciate you. I love you. Y'all get some rest now. Get some sleep. You know, you got to get up early in the morning. Some of you got to get up early in the morning. All right. We out of here. Peace. Thank you for coming over. I appreciate you. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I appreciate you supporting me. You supporting me. Thank you. Peace.